Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into this like infographic map image of the Theia Sky Ruins. Now, first and foremost, this was sent to me. I saw it on Reddit too, but it says by Team Shiny, so they, them, you, whoever you are, thank you so much for compiling this. And here's the thing. I've played Theia Sky Ruins. I've done literally 2 games of it, like in actual game on PTS. It's just too laggy for me. I don't like it. I haven't really studied it. I haven't really watched a lot of footage of it. I don't even know these timers yet, and I don't even have all the buffs and things memorized. So this is like a live action theory crafting and looking at the map session. So if you were to be picking up this picture for the first time, that's what I'm doing. So let's go through it together. All right, let's go ahead and look at the chart. So Regieleki is our new Rotom. I do know that. Fight for your team while pushing towards the enemy goal to make it defenseless and score 20 points. So cool. Rayquaza obviously grants you this team shield that increases goal speed alongside a score shield barrier. Cool. Escavalier, this is the red buff. Pokemon attacks deal extra damage and reduces enemy movement speed. So I think this is just like a buffed red buff. A Selgor, blue buff, reduces the cooldowns of the Pokemon's moves. That's really, really cool. I really like this one. This is a much, much better blue buff. Registeel. Now, here's the thing. I think the Regis are random. I think. Or they're on like a set rotation. So we'll have to learn that. I don't actually know. But Registeel, increase the team's attack and SP attack for a short time. Regice, increase the HP recovery speed of your team for a short time. And Regirock, increase your team's defense and SP defense for a short time. So the thing is depending on how the experience works for this, is it global like a Dreadnought? Is it localized? How strong these buffs actually feel will kind of determine the meta of that like 7-minute mark. Because right now this map is huge. There's a lot of experience on the map. I don't know if we'll pull everybody down here for Reggie. I'm willing to bet that we don't. So my guess would be that you end up like having a Hoopa, you pour someone down, maybe you leave someone top, you split the map, 2-3. We'll just have to see what it feels like and what other experience feels like is worth going for, or just how strong maybe even playing for Regieleki might be. If Dreadnought wasn't so damn strong, I could see Rotom strategies being the actual main strategy of the map. So Regieleki might actually be our go-to play. You never know. So let's take a look at the spawn timer. So we have the bunnies, the normal jungle. I'm not going to think about the names too much. And then the closest timers we have are 8:45 in the center. So we have the 9:45s. Let's see. Well, I said the 8:45s in the center, but I mean, I need to look at lanes first. So we'll go down to lane. We'll hit what? 9:40 bunnies, and then whatever this thing is. 9:15 neutral. 9:45 neutral. So we come down to lane, we go 9:45 neutral, we peel back for our farm. We peel back for our 9:40 farm, and then we go back to 9:15 neutral. Really, really interesting. Post 9:15 neutral, you're probably going to go straight for the Alterias, because that's going to be just enough time to poke at them to try to fight for this neutral, and go for the Alterias and peel back for your safe farm. So the safe farm should probably always be last, just by looking at it. Now, I know top lane's a little bit different because you come into lane, you have 9:40 neutrals. All of these are 9:40 neutrals. So you may even be like pushing across lane to try to fight their side. And then you have, so all this neutral right here. All this neutral. And then 9:20 neutral, which is going to, and then post 9:20 neutral, maybe there's enough time to peel back for your 9-minute and then go to 8:50 Alterias. So the thing about this is that I wonder how much time there is, depending on the jungler you're using and the kind of, maybe if you have a hoop on the map, where you can really min-max the map by having like a 850 jungle gank or like a 905 jungle gank in bottom, and then you port the jungler top for the 850 gank and have them back in lane. At that time, they'd be losing a little bit of jungle experience, but they'd be guaranteeing lane farm, which I think is pretty important. So we'll have to see how the macro of that turns out. The other thing, too, is that there's all this 8-minute 8:45. So we should definitely have, at minimum, like a roamer on this map. So part of me definitely considers that double jungle could be a thing, but not necessarily like just strict double jungle, but that you could actually just have someone roaming around the map a lot. If not something like that, then you're going to have like support roamer, which I think is a really, really viable strategy. It depends, because it could be support or tank roamer, because you may, depending on how the, again, this is all just hypothetical, depending on how the map actually feels, you may like always want to keep your Hoopa in the lane next to the goal, so that way they can port people down and port people up. But I think with like 8:45 experience, 8-minute experience in the center, this is going to be highly contested. At 9:45 here, you're probably going to kill after, like, say 10 seconds. That's going to be 8:45. So you're going to want to, like, man, I'm trying to think of what the jungle pathing is going to be. Like, you're going to come in clear, go bottom per se, and then after bottom, you may be able to like rotate up or port up. It just depends on what kind of jungler you're playing, and if you have a Hoopa, you may be able to go for neutrals or go straight to top lane. I feel like the top lane might be hard to get to if you don't have coordinated play. Like going like 905 jungle gank or like to bottom to 850 to top, that's going to be really, really hard without a Hoopa or some kind of help. So if you're like solo queue jungling, maybe you go like, you know, like jungle clear to bottom to center, and then you like jungle clear to center. You know what I mean? So here, I could actually use my epic pen on this one. I didn't use it last time when I said I was going to. All right, so let's take a look at like a hypothetical jungle clear. You would like start here and go here, 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 here. And then if you're solo queue, you probably peel up. Maybe you go for these two. Maybe. Or you contest their side to try to get some of the neutral farm. Maybe pull a laner with you so you could contest their side. And then, so depending on how this goes, I don't even know if I want to draw it like that. You would peel back into jungle. You peel back into jungle. Now, the thing with these camps back here is that since they're the far back camps, I don't know how much it's going to be worth it to constantly go back and farm them. Like you could, but there's so much else on the map going on that you're going to be wanting to get back out. This map just has a ridiculous amount of farm. So you'd maybe do like a clear to bottom, to center, to back to jungle. And then after you kill this, you know, you're going to want to either hit a lane, like maybe you'd come back here for this neutral, down into center. Something like that. So yeah, okay, so that's really confusing to look at. But essentially, I'm just seeing like a normal clear path into lane, into center, if you can't port top, because this, I think that this play going for the 850s is probably only going to be possible with like a Hoopa, or if you're like Dodrio, the X speed or something, maybe like a really, really fast jungler, someone that can clear fast and like can stay on their toes and move quickly. It just depends on how tied up you get into the fight too, because if you get tied up in a 905 fight, then you're not going to be able to do anything with that. But I think the more important thing right now is just knowing all these timers. All of them are probably 1-minute timers, so like these will be back up at like 840. So a lot of these will probably be respawning when you're going for this neutral farm. So you may not even go for this neutral farm. Like it may be better to do something like this, where you clear the 905 and then you run up for 840. You know what I mean? Or you stay here for this neutral. But there's just a lot of experience, and that's the thing. We don't know how much a lot of these camps are worth. So like maybe this is a play, and then you peel back into jungle. We'll have to see what it ends up feeling like. But overall, it's a little impossible to kind of like plan the macro, because we just don't know how strong the Regis are compared to Regieleki. All we know is that there's a lot of experience on the map, and I think probably the best thing you can do going into this is knowing the timer. Once you know the timers, it just becomes kind of second nature to always be prepared for them. I think that a lot of this neutral farm is going to be really, really important. The mid farm, it's free. It's lane farm in the center of the map. You're going to have someone peeling up. You may have a whole lane rotate up at 8 minutes. That may end up sacking a little bit of experience and turn in, because they may just push across and turn in instead of try to contest. So you might want to leave like one person and pull like 2 people from each lane. Or if you have like a jungle roamer, like someone that's constantly roaming with like EXP share, could be really, really interesting. So I definitely think that we could see some big meta shifts, something like tanks roaming around the map with EXP share, and having like Hoopa sitting in a lane like really hard defending a goal, which feels funny because you would think that the defender would do that role, but it's going to be really, really interesting. So yeah, that's kind of my theory crafting session for now. I know this is not a very conclusive video, but just kind of like what I think about in real time, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So friends, thank you so much for watching this video. Drop a comment on it, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content. I do want to know what y'all are thinking, because this is uncharted territory, right? Like I said, I've only been on the map a couple times, and it's a very, very inconclusive experience. Even just looking at all this is very, very inconclusive. I do think that with these new buffs, like even red and blue buff, there's a little bit of min-max opportunity for the end game. Like giving blue buff to mages, to tanks that have heavy CC, some potential all-rounders is going to be really, really important to try to make min-max that. Giving red buff to damage carries. Yeah, I mean, I think like Cinderace red buff has always been great. It's going to be the same thing. So as always, friends, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tell one another, tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.